All right. Well, welcome everyone. If you are here for the Making the Smooth Transition to CCS, you are in the right place. I'm just going to share up my screen here. And Brandy, can you tell me a thumbs up? Do you see the screen?
Sure
We're all
do,
good to
Eric.
go. All right. All right. Well, again, welcome everybody. And thank you for joining us this evening for the transitioning to CCS presentation. My name is Eric Castor. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions at CCS. And I have with me this evening Brandy Keeler, who's the Director for Student Engagement and Belonging. I just want to let you know that we are recording this presentation so that we can send the recording out to you all afterwards, so you have something to reference, and also that we might put it up on our YouTube channel so you can look for it there if you happen to lose your own copy. Before I begin, I probably want to preface our presentation this evening with this is going to be a very broad and general overview. It's going to be very informative. And we're going to throw a lot of information at you, but I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed because you're going to see a lot of this information show up again over the summer, during the summer orientation and our fall orientation. And a lot of the questions that you have that may seem urgent now, trust me, in time, all of them will be answered. Also, Brandy and I work in very specific offices, and we may not represent offices like financial aid or the registrar's office, who may be the authority for a lot of the questions that you may have. So we will try and later address as many questions as you may have and answer them as thoroughly as we can. But we may also be throwing up some contact information in the chat so that you can reach out to folks and get some accurate information. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and begin. So the topics that we're going to cover tonight broadly range between communication, both communications that we send to you and communications that you may be receiving through email. And that's going to be through what we call the Access Manager. So we're going to talk about that. I briefly want to touch on international student belonging. I don't know, we may have one or two international students with us this evening. I just want you to be aware that there are resources available to you regarding that. We're going to talk a little bit about class scheduling, what that looks like and kind of the timing around that, as well as transfer credit. We'll talk a little bit about laptop requirements. A lot of folks always have questions about technology, so we're going to address some of that, as well as tuition billing and financial aid. And then I'm going to turn things over to Brandy, and she's going to finish up with the orientation and welcome week information, connecting you with roommates and your arrival to campus. All right, so communication and portals. Probably the most important thing that you need to be aware of is to check your CCS email account, because that is where most of the information that all of our offices will be sending you through your CCS email account. As you were applying to the school, a lot of things came to your personal email that you made application with. But moving forward, a lot of that information is going to be coming through your CCS Gmail account. So if you haven't already, and many of you probably have, so some of this is going to seem familiar. When you got your admit letter, you got your username and your login password. You're going to use those to access the CCS application portal, which is much like the applications on your smartphone. So you're going to navigate those, and we're going to talk a little bit about those this evening as well. So we're going to cover some of the applications like Canvas. Again, I just addressed the importance of your CCS email and why that's so important. We'll talk a little bit about Peacock Pride, campus offices. Now, As far as contacts, there is campus offices and the phone list. I think both you'll have access to on the campus portal are very important because anyone you would want to connect with, you will find on either one of those, either campus offices, or if you don't find them there, you'll find them on the phone list. So get used to using those. We're also going to talk a little bit about self-service as well as some of the other apps. So this is what it looks like. So if you've already been there, this should look familiar to you. So again, your CCS email is the primary communication email used between yourselves and staff and faculty, as well as the other campus offices. Also, you will receive weekly student emails, and Brandy can talk a little bit about this, but you'll get a weekly CCS student email that will have information about clubs and organizations and activities that are happening off campus so that you can stay as engaged with student engagement as you want to be without missing that information. So I think that's a wonderful thing. I didn't have anything like that when I went to college, so I think that's great. There's also, again, an app on the Access Manager called the Peacock Pride, and that is the campus-wide portal for connections to student events. So you have immediate access to that beyond the weekly CCS email, student email, where you can find out about student organizations, leadership and involvement opportunities, and campus office information. And again, Brandy will probably address that maybe in a little bit more detail a little bit later in the presentation. So this is what the Gmail icon looks like. So again, this is your student email access. So you want to check this often. Anything in terms of your scheduling your registration session with the academic advising office, where you will, that's one step in getting your class schedule. You'll be notified through your student email account. Information about housing, student organizations, orientation information, that's all going to come to your student email. The Peacock portal, again, is connecting to student organizations, events, and support services. Self-service, this will be very important to you. This is where you can update your contact information. This is where you will receive your class schedules, tuition bills, financial aid, and parent proxy. So if you want your parents to have access to your student records, you can update that information under self-service. And then the Patron portal, this is where you will borrow equipment and reserve studio spaces. And then again, if you are an international student, I want you to know that you are an important population within the institution as well as transfers. We're all one school, we're all one tribe. So I wanted to let you all know that you have access to things like immigration and advising, help with your student visas. There'll be information about the CCS Global Student Club, which is an organization for international students to help them have a sense of belonging and to be able to assimilate into the culture here, international peer mentoring program, and others. So just make sure that you're aware that that office exists. And again, use that office and phone contact list if you have any questions so that you can reach out to them. All right, self-service, again, this is where you will review your financial aid package. Many of you have maybe already done that. You may also be reviewing your tuition bill here and due dates. Just so you know, tuition bills typically go out in July, like the 1st of July, and they're usually due by August 1st. And again, establishing that proxy access for parents and guardians. So campus offices, again, this is your contact list. So if you're looking for individuals in specific offices, They will be listed out here with all their contact information, both email and phone numbers. And occasionally you'll also find their Zoom link where you can create a meeting on their calendar to meet with them. Canvas, again, courses, your syllabi, and your syllabus, when you receive that, will have your list of art supplies. So if you're wondering what art supplies do I need for my classes, as soon as your class schedule is done and your syllabi is posted to Canvas, you will be able to see what supplies that you need for your classes there. Also, occasionally you may get a list of those art supplies the first day of class. So you want to be as prepared as you can be, but it may not be until that first day of class, so don't panic. There'll be plenty of time for you to get your supplies. Also, assignments and communications from faculty will be made through Canvas. Handshake is part of our career services, our career development office. And this is a connection to career development for internships, jobs, and resume building. So you may not utilize this right away, just know that it exists. And it is an important part of your next steps as you advance through the program and closer to graduation to help you find employment. But of course, internships, when you are beginning to become increasingly more involved in actively looking for internships, this is where you're going to do that. If you have any need for the IT department, you're going to use the help desk. And this is where you're going to put in requests to have your password reset, or if you're working on CCS equipment and you need assistance with that, a laptop, what have you, this is where they'll be able to assist you. And then signing up for campus alerts, emergency alerts, very important that you stay connected. So if there is any emergency that we need to address and alert the entire student body, faculty, and staff, this is where we're going to be able to connect with you. And that might be through email and phone and text. So it is very important that you stay on top of that as well. All right, class schedules. So what's going to happen, and I can't tell you exactly when, but this is where it's important you continue to monitor your CCS email account. This is what it looks like. So you're checking your email account. You're going to go to self-service and you're going to prep for registration or scheduling your registration session. And by prepping, it will guide you. You'll go to student planning, then you'll go to plan and schedule, and then you'll clear out any red flags and accept any or all agreements. So it's pretty intuitive. It will walk you through that whole process. Then when that is done, you will eventually receive an invitation from your academic advisor for a summer registration session. So these are things that are going to be happening in the not too distant future, but nothing you need to worry about anytime soon. And then you will be contacted by your academic advisor. You'll set up a registration session where you'll sit and you'll talk about your class schedule. You'll look at anything that needs to be adjusted. By the way, you are pre-registered for your classes. So it's not like, I'm older, gray hair. So back in the day, I used to stand in long lines. And when I got to the front of the line, that class might have been closed. It's nothing like that. You're not going to get closed out of any of the required coursework that you have. Electives later, once you're familiar with the process, you'll be scheduling those hopefully well in advance before any of those courses close. But for the first go around, you're pre-registered. You don't need to really worry about getting closed out of any of your classes. So that's one thing that we can take away from you today, and not to have the anxiety about, am I going to get all my classes? You will get the classes that you need. So that process, and I have a link for the image that you see here on screen, and I will put that up when I stop talking and Brandy begins, so that you have this information. This information, if it has not been emailed to you already, will be emailed by academic advising. So again, if you haven't seen it, don't worry, it will be coming to you. And if you have, then this may already look familiar. All right. I am not really confident how many of you will have any hybrid classes, but I thought that I might cover all this information so that you are familiar with the acronyms and what they mean. So let me just review that with you. So over on the left there where it says on campus, there are 3 acronyms. So these may appear in your schedule somewhere where you see LEC. This would be for an in-person lecture. So these don't typically involve a studio classroom. So these might be for an academic class like art history class or any of your liberal arts courses. If you see the acronym STU, this is an in-person studio class. So an in-person studio course typically meets for 90 contact hours per semester. So that just simply means that that is a studio class. And IND means it's an independent study or internship opportunity. So if those show up on your class schedule, that's what those mean. Now, on the right, hybrid or virtual and in-person, most of you, because you are on campus and taking brick and mortar, I'm not confident, maybe Brandy knows and can address this. This might still be a holdover from COVID, but the hybrid, HYB hybrid is a blended both in-person and studio and online class. So it's an in-person studio and online class. And the ONHY is an online hybrid class.
And I'll add, Eric, that we do have a small, very small number of students who still take some of those classes for certain liberal arts courses. So some students do have some virtual classes still, even post-pandemic.
So this is where they will show up. So if that applies to you, just know what those acronyms mean. But if you do have any questions, you are certainly welcome to reach out and contact the folks in academic advising, and they can remind you of those acronyms and what they mean. Thank you, Brandy. So again, course scheduling and credit placement. So registration appointments for incoming students will show up. The course schedule will be visible on WebAdvisor. But before you even get to that point, there are a couple housekeeping items that are very important that you address so that we can make sure that you get credited for all of the college level coursework that you have taken. This includes AP and IB, any dual enrollment coursework that you've done. So as you were making application, you had been working with your admissions counselor on what's called the Transfer Credit Evaluation, or TCE. Many of you may have received an email that had this TCE with the list of courses that we anticipated transferring over. This were sent to you, or a link that you could go to see this document. If you have college courses and you've not received a TCE, you may want to reach out to your admissions advisor tomorrow, and or your transfer credit advisor, your transfer advisor, because I think a couple of you are working with Russell. And we can review your student record and make sure that we have transcripts. It's very important that we get final and official transcripts. So once you've graduated high school and you've completed all of your coursework and your final and official transcripts are available, many times the council will just go ahead and send it. Maybe they've already sent a copy where we've received your GPA, which were necessary to make an admissions decision. Well, now we'll need a final and official document that has your graduation date on it. So those are your high school transcripts. If you were taking any dual enrolled courses at a college, you want to make sure, if you've completed the coursework there, that you send final and official transcripts sent directly from that institution to CCS, and you're going to send them to the admissions office email address. You can use Parchment or Clearinghouse to do this, or you can simply go through whatever the process is that the college has for sending transcripts. And you can usually Google, sending transcripts from XYZ school, and that will come up, that process will come up, or simply call their registrar's office. But we will need, even if you'd received a transfer credit evaluation, if any of your courses were in progress, they weren't final and official transcripts, if they didn't come directly from the school, but rather they came from you, you need to make sure we have final and official transcripts and transcripts that show final grades. And that way your transfer credit evaluation can be updated accurately before it's sent to your academic advisor, so that they can apply those credits to your class schedule, and you don't have to repeat any of those courses that you'd receive credit for, that you worked so hard to receive credit for. So very important for any of my students, anyone's students who are an early middle college student. Even though those college courses show up on your high school transcript record, it is super important that you have the college where you had taken the classes from send final and official transcripts once you've completed any coursework there. So again, early middle college students, even though those credits show up on your high school record, we need the college transcripts. So reach out to them and have them send transcripts, because they'll have things like contact hours and course codes, which we need to record on your transfer credit evaluation. And any schedule changes will happen through your academic advisor, and they're the ones who will officially award the credit. So if there are any questions about that at the end, we can talk a little bit more about that later. Final and official transcripts are due July 1st. Try as best you can, if again your courses have been completed, to get them into us by then, so that doesn't hold up that whole class scheduling process. So once you're enrolled, your student record goes over to your academic advisor, and they want to be able to begin preparing your schedule. So they need those final official transcripts and the updated transfer credit evaluation form, so that they can create an accurate schedule for you. And usually there's a time delay there. So it takes about 2 weeks for us to get the transcripts and to update your TCEs and to get them over to your academic advisor. So even though you sent them, things don't happen immediately. So make sure that you give a little bit of cushion of time there. So don't wait until the last minute to send us everything that you need.
And Eric, we had a question come in from Darsh. How are students notified that CCS receives their final high school transcripts? Is it email, their portal? Where can students look for that?
You can contact your admissions advisor, and we can check the date to see that we'd received the final official transcripts. Or once your student record is sent over to academic advising, you can also check with your academic advisor. And academic advisors are actually on our website, and later maybe we can take a break and I'll flip over to our website and I'll show you where you can find them. They're broken down by major. And you may also contact them to see if they had received a final and official transcript. But for the time being, check with your admissions advisor, because most of your files still are probably within the admissions office and have not been transferred quite yet to academic advising. Does that help answer that question? I know there are 2 places they can live, and there is a handoff point, so I want to make sure we get you to the right folks. And if your record isn't updated in the admissions office where we can view it, then we will tell you and advise you to contact your academic advisor. So I guess maybe just check with your admissions advisor first, and we can double check on that. Now, just to preface what I'd said earlier, you may have already sent a transcript, but if you hadn't graduated high school yet, many of you have just done that, it probably isn't a final official transcript. So there is that second copy that needs to be sent with the graduation date. And you may even want to stop in and talk to your counselor if that's still possible. so that they know to make sure that that graduation date is on there. That's very important. Also, if any of you are just self-aware, and I don't think everybody needs to call their admissions advisor tomorrow and ask this question, but if anybody is self-aware that maybe you didn't include your social security number when you had made application, there may be a few students that we need to collect social security numbers from. We're actually going to be reaching out to those of you that might be the case. If you'd received your financial aid award letter, we have your social security number, but there may be some circumstances where we don't have that information. So again, probably not to worry you. We will reach out to you if we need it. But that might be a call that you might get if we don't have it. All right. Laptop requirements. There is only one major that requires a laptop for your classwork, and that is our communication design and strategy major. You are not required to have a laptop for all other majors, and in part because you won't need to be doing as much work at home. You are going to be working with some high-end industry software, and you may need our labs to be able to do things like render. So just know that you will have access to labs evenings and weekends, and you'll become later aware of what the lab hours are, but they're very accessible to you. So if you would like to have a laptop, you may want to contact your department program manager, and they can help you. There is also information on the website. And again, if we take a break, I can go over there and I can show you where that is if you wish to purchase a laptop, but it is not a requirement for any program other than communication design and strategy. And the specs or the specifications for those laptops are on our website. And again, I can show you where that is. And again, you will have access to labs. In fact, I think, and Brandy, I don't know, maybe you can tell me if this is correct. The patron portal might have the lab hours on it. Does that sound right?
So for the yes, the patron portal has information for labs. Our computer labs, though, the two computer labs that we have on the Kresge 4 and the TC campus are 24-hour labs. But for any additional labs, for example, our woodshop spaces and things like that, those hours are posted.
But you will become aware of the hours. So, you know, again, these are things that you don't need to know right now, but you will become aware of those as you progress into your classes. Maybe your first class, you'll find out what those hours are. Audiovisual Center. This is interesting because this will provide you with assistance materials and check out for a lot of things that you may not have even been aware that we have. For example, we have a prop and costume rental, which is part of our AVC, or Audio Visual Center. You will also be able to check out things like video and photography equipment, video conferencing equipment, you know, voice amplification services, and other technology that you will be able to check out here. So that is also available to you to help assist you with your classwork. And again, I mentioned this earlier, that your art supplies will be listed on your syllabus, which will be available eventually on Canvas when your class schedule is approved. Your class syllabus will be available to you, provide you additional information about the course and what art supplies might be required for that course. We do have an art supply store on campus where I believe most everything that you'll need for your classes will be there. It is competitively priced with any other supply store in town. You're certainly welcome to shop your supplies elsewhere, but everything you should need should be available to you on campus, and you will have an opportunity to purchase those supplies before your classes begin. If an art supply list isn't provided on a syllabi, you won't be expected to have those supplies until after the first day of class, where the instructor may make that list available to you. Departments, majors, or courses not shown, again, we'll have that supply list available on the first day of class. And if you have any questions, program manager probably should explain to you what that is. So every department has a program manager, and they're responsible for a lot of things. But rather than having to constantly go to your department head, who's bouncing around all over the place and very busy, this is a person you can always go to who will be able to answer any questions for you program related. So this goes back to the conversation about the laptops or art supplies, or if you need to connect with the department head, they can make an appointment for you. And program managers are all listed under the campus offices or that phone list. So again, use those in tandem with one another. And again, everybody that you want to connect with will be on either one or the other, or possibly both. All right, and this is the point where, phew, I got through my stuff, and I'm going to turn things over to Brandy.
Thanks, Eric. All right, folks. So let's talk about another tool that is available to you to help your transition to CCS, and that is orientation. So orientation at our school is really designed to make sure that every student starts their journey with confidence and clarity. You all have some additional information to make you feel grounded before classes start in the fall. So we help students learn how to navigate campus. You'll learn some academic key expectations. We'll hear from our provost and our dean. And you just start to learn where all of the support resources on campus are. So again, if you don't remember everything we're saying to you today, some of this information will be repeated and emphasized at orientation in the fall. And there are two parts to orientation that are required for all incoming students. So our first is our pre-orientation. This takes place online and it launches the first day of August, so beginning of August. And it's an interactive document that takes about 2 to 4 hours to work through. And you can move at your own pace up until you step foot on campus, right? So you're learning information there. This gives you sort of like a preliminary look at some of the resources that you have available on campus. It walks you through things like campus safety, how to check certain tools on campus, things like that. Um, and then in person, we gather on August 25th. That's a Monday for in-person new student orientation. And that's your chance to not only meet the other students who you're coming to CCS with, you get connected with staff from your department, other student leaders on campus, but you get to explore campus, get into the rhythms of life at CCS, and that's when your semester is starting to begin. So even though you're not taking classes, that's when you are officially on campus as a peacock, right? And so we'll give you more details about that. Again, you're going to hear this sentence a million times before and during orientation. Check your email. Your email we'll send out an email with the details for orientation later this summer. Okay. And the orientation day kicks off a week at CCS that we like to call Welcome Week because we're welcoming you to campus. And that's all about helping you to build community at CCS, right? You're not coming just for what's happening in the classroom. College is a full experience, right? And so we want to make sure you build some memories right off the bat, start to build some friendships immediately before classes start. So Welcome Week is a mix of fun events, some casual things, some opportunities to explore CCS more in depth, as well as explore the city of Detroit. We do field trips and things like that. And so, yeah, we want to make sure that you're meeting other incoming city students. And so we do things like CCS After Dark, which is like this really fun glow party. Um, we go to the different cultural events like the Detroit Jazz Festival. We do some Zen things because starting college can be overwhelming. So if you want to take a yoga class, there are opportunities like that and more happening during Welcome Week. Well, also the day of orientation, after orientation is done, we'll have something called the Meet and Eat Resource Fair. And that's where you'll get to connect with student orgs, campus offices, and community partners and sign up for additional resources. We also help you with tours. So you can actually sign up for campus tours during pre-orientation. And then throughout the week of Welcome Week, you'll be able to go on those tours of campus. So if you haven't had a chance to visit campus and do a tour yet, don't worry. We'll make sure you're familiar with the full campus before classes start. Next slide. Also, for our parents and guardians out there, we know that this is a big transition for you too. And while we want new student orientation to be student-centered, we have an orientation just dedicated to you all. And so parent orientation really helps you to feel more informed about what your student is stepping into in this next chapter. So that session will be on Zoom. It'll be live on Zoom August 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that'll be led by our assistant VP of campus life and our dean, Dan Long. So he'll walk you through what your student can come to expect during the academic year, who to contact when you have questions or concerns, and how to best support your student on their journey. And if you're not able to attend that session live, there's nothing to worry about. We will record that session and it will be available afterwards. But to make sure you get the invite to the session, we just need to make sure that your student shares your contact information with their admissions counselor by August 1st. So we can make sure that you're on the invite list for that Zoom event. So make sure we have your full name, your email, and your phone number. And then we really like to encourage families to attend. It's really important because you can't attend new student orientation. I know over the years we've had so many really interesting conversations with parents when we have to tell them this is for your student on August 25th. And they're like, I guess we'll, they come to town there and say, I guess we'll walk around Detroit or something or go have lunch. And so, yeah, we really want to make sure that your student, you're releasing them from the nest. They're going into this next chapter, but we want to make sure you still feel informed and empowered as a support for your students. So next, let's talk about a few things that you need to know if you're living on campus this fall. So move-in day for our new students is Sunday, August 24th, and students will sign up for specific move-in time slots. So it's not a full day where you just show up. You will get an appointment and a window of time where you can move in. If you are an international student, your move-in is one day earlier on Saturday, August 23rd. So we have a ton of resources. Housing has done an amazing job on the website of making full lists of what to bring and what not to bring. Please make sure you are reading those so you're not packing and traveling with things that are prohibited on campus or so that you're not forgetting anything that's essential. I can't tell you how many toaster ovens are stored in the housing office because students do not read what not to bring and they bring a toaster anyway to the TC and you cannot have a toaster there. That's one example, right? And the different dorms do have different restrictions. So it's important to read that list for the dorm that you're specifically signed up for so that you know what you can and can't bring to that housing building. And so we'll paste that information in the chat. But if you're going to be living with roommates, we highly recommend that you connect with your roommates before move-in. Obviously, orientation will provide an opportunity for that, but we have the Mercury app where students are signing up for housing, or excuse me, the Stories app. It's a new app this year, forgive me. And so you can access that via the Access Manager that Eric talked about earlier with all those different links. So you can see who your roommates are and reach out ahead of time, start to get to learn a bit about them. Our housing office does an amazing job of reading thoroughly through the applications and pairing you with folks who have similar interests and lifestyle choices, things like that. So there's a lot of work that goes ahead of time to make sure you're paired with the right roommates, but you still want to connect with them beforehand and build some of that rapport, right? And lastly, um, while the COVID vaccine is not required for students living on campus, we do highly recommend it to students living in our residence halls because it helps to protect the community and reduce disruptions during the semester. So again, it's not required, but it's highly encouraged.
And uh, correct me if I'm wrong, Brandy, will students receive contact information for their roommates so they might contact them before move-in to have those
Yes.
conversations?
So yes, through the Stories app, the students will know who their roommates are prior to moving. And I can verify that because we did change our system this year, but that's historically what students have been able to do. Let's talk a bit about how to access campus with your student ID and student parking. So CCS, as I'm sure you've heard from your admissions counselor, is one of the safest college campuses in the state of Michigan. And that's because we have ID access for all of our buildings on campus. So student ID is a very important part of your experience as a student here at CCS. So, as a part of pre-orientation, in that pre-orientation process, you will receive a form that must be completed before you come to campus. And that form will ask you for a headshot that you'll upload. It'll share with you the specific dimensions of that headshot or that picture of your face. Once you submit that form, our campus safety office will produce your ID for you, and that will be available for you to pick up either at new student move-in or new student orientation if you are not living on campus. This is important because your ID is required to enter every building on campus, whether it's your dormitory for student housing, whether it's your academic classes in our campus buildings, even to ride the CCS shuttle to get between the two sides of campus. You would need to show your student ID badge. And in some buildings, you can't even ride the elevator without your ID badge. So again, very, very secure campus. We prioritize student safety here at CCS. And so we want to make sure that you fill out that information early through pre-orientation so that we can print your badge for you. Um, Someone asked, are student ID
Just
numbers available now? Those should have been on the acceptance letter, right? Oh yeah, there's Eric's badge. Yep.
here's my badge. And just so you know, you can get these at any hardware store better than a lanyard, and you might get CCS branded lanyards.
Yeah,
Wear
we
them,
have.
you love them. But there's this really cool retractable thing that you can wear on a belt loop, and it makes it very convenient to carry your ID badges.
Yeah, and in our office and student engagement belonging, we have a ton of different types of lanyards and I don't know what you call those pull cords. So we can get you some CCS branded ones so that you're official, but also always have your ID handy. I think it's not a good idea to keep it in your wallet, right? Because you have to use it so much. So those tools definitely come in handy. And then for those of you who want to, who are commuters or want to have a car on campus, freshmen are allowed to have cars in the parking garage at CCS. Our parking is free for both cars and bicycles. Um, you just need to register your vehicle, either your car or your bike, with our campus safety office. So there's an opportunity to do that during that welcome week during new student orientation. I will walk you through that process just to make sure that you get your parking tag information. And our parking is it's free. It's free. So unlike a lot of college campuses, you don't have to worry about where you're going to put your car. It is monitored 24/7 and it's very secure. So you can commute, excuse me, can use your car on campus even as a freshman student. All right. And then moving on. So we know that we have a variety of different types of students and learners here at CCS, and we want everyone to be able to fully participate in the CCS experience. So that means if your student or you have a disability or a condition that impacts your learning, how you live in housing, or your day-to-day experience, there are resources and supports available at CCS. To begin the process of seeing what supports are available to you and getting the accommodations you need, students need to disclose and set up a conversation with our Dean of Students, Dan Long, because he oversees our accommodations process. So there is a QR code here on your screen. If you're a student who needs ADA accommodations or any type of accommodations, I definitely recommend scanning that video and starting to learn. It's another webinar, but starting to learn about our accommodations process at CCS and what we make available to our students. Everything from emotional support animals to classroom exceptions, 504 plans, things like that. So yeah, we will not assume anything about a student regardless of what we can perceive. We always need students to self-disclose. Okay. So please scan that QR code to get information. The key thing with accommodations is not to wait. The sooner we can start the conversation about accommodations, the smoother your transition will be for your classes and your dorm experience, right? So we want to make sure that every student has what they need to thrive, but we need to know from you ahead of time, okay? And again, scanning that QR code will provide you more information about that. Benjamin, yes, you can reach out and we can when you scan that QR code, it'll walk you through the information. I would suggest watching that first, and then for additional questions after that, the information in that webinar will guide you to your next steps. All right, and then another amazing resource to help students is our Center for Tutoring and Writing. So this is here to support any student, whether you're excelling, you're struggling to stay ahead, you just want a second pair of eyes on some of your work or your timelines. So they help with everything from mapping out your day-to-day schedule, making sure you're prioritizing your sleep, your rest, time to enjoy your life in addition to your classes, right? They can help with breaking down complex homework assignments or big projects into manageable tasks. And if you're struggling with a particular skill set, we have peer tutors, so fellow students who are upperclassmen who've gone through the same classes who can provide you guidance. We know the transition to college comes with a lot of moving parts, and it is normal. I want to say this, it is normal to feel overwhelmed or unsure of how to juggle things and how to excel. And the Center for Tutoring and Writing is your best tool to help you figure that out. So we definitely recommend that students reach out to, we also call it the CTW, but reach out to the CTW before things get overwhelming. Do not wait until you're drowning or burnt out to reach out for help. Start off with a strong foundation by going and having them look over your schedule, talking about your plan for how to excel in your classes, right? They're an amazing resource and tool for you. Also, we want to emphasize that it's important to think about managing your full experience at CCS. We have this saying in our student engagement office that you are a student, or excuse me, a human first, a student second, and then a student leader, if you're in those types of capacities, third. And so as a human, you need to make sure you're making time for hanging out with friends, for sleep. You would be amazed how many students don't think to sleep, right? Exercise or meditation or whatever grounds you. And so we have, in addition to our Center for Tutoring and Writing, a wellness office, which I'll have us go to our next slide. All right. We have our wellness office that provides you with health resources like counseling or referring out for additional mental health resources. We have virtual therapy or counseling sessions that students can sign up for. Also, a big hit in our campus is Smokey, our therapy dog, who visits campus throughout the semester. If you need a break to come hug on a puppy, that's available too. But they help with yoga, different events for sexual health, mental health. Anything that you really need to feel grounded and mentally and emotionally safe on campus. We have resources for that. We also have physical health resources, and we share some of our resources with Wayne State's Health Center. So students can access support through that resource. We are also really close to a lot of local hospitals. We're a mile away from both the Detroit Medical Center as well as Henry Ford Hospital, which is our main hospital downtown Detroit. And we also have student health insurance available for some of our students who aren't on their parents' health insurance and need to figure that out. Our wellness coordinator helps to facilitate that process for you. So it really, to us as at CCS, is important that we are caring for you as a whole student, as a whole human, and we have resources to facilitate your well-being. So I know we have only a few minutes left, but I just want to end by saying that there are a ton of resources available to you at CCS to support your academic success, your leadership, your social life, your well-being. And it is your job as a student to tap into those resources, right? That's, I think, one of the key differences between high school and college is that you have to be proactive, right? And ask for the things you need. Healthy people ask for the things they need. Smart people often have questions that they need answered to get the help they need. So, we're helping to make your smooth transition by exposing you to some of these resources. But like we said earlier, we'll continue to share these throughout your transition to CCS. So this won't be the first time you hear a lot of this information, okay?
Hey, Brandy.
And I see this question about prescriptions.
Got it.
If
Okay.
you live on campus and you have delivery set up, we actually mail those to the housing offices. And we have refrigerators for prescriptions that need to be refrigerated. But you can get your prescription mailed straight to your housing. And the housing office can help facilitate that process for you. So
Wow.
that's not through wellness. Yeah.
That's top-notch service, though. I didn't realize that we had that available.
Yeah, our student government helped to set that up, which was a really amazing use of their leadership. Yeah.
Before we get into additional questions, I'm going to stop the share here real quick. And I want to share the website with you all. As I did, so can you all see the website? Thumbs up. I did want to share a couple resources to you. So if you go to Life at CCS and you scroll down, you can see housing on and off campus, facts, and move in. This is where you can find out that information about what to bring, what not to bring. And here is the laptop requirement. So you'll find a lot of information here under Life at CCS. All right, I want to point that out. So with that, are there any additional questions that we might be able to address this evening while we have you here? So Brandy, I don't know if you caught it. So when I was not here entirely when you needed me to advance a slide, I was posting a lot of links and contact information, and many of you have probably caught that, but if you didn't, I do have the contacts for housing, and that would be either Rebecca Hanna or Ryan Harrison. I also threw up there where you would send transcripts, and again, you can use Clearinghouse or Parchment, but make sure if any of them are being emailed, you use the admissions email address. And if your file had been forwarded to academic advising, we will forward the transcript for you so you can send everything to admissions. And there's Dan Long's contact information. I know somebody had some questions about meeting with him over the summer. Do take a look at that video. Some of your questions may already be answered, but if you need to, he is always available to you.
Okay, well, it looks like we are at the 8 o'clock mark. Yes, you can eat at Wayne State. You would have to uh, just pay for your food. But well, I should say, our meal plan is separate from Wayne State's meal plan. We are a completely different college from them. So if you have a meal plan at CCS, that does not apply to Wayne State. But for the fast food restaurants and things that they have on campus, you're welcome to walk over there. Sometimes Wayne State students hang out with CCS students and vice versa. But yeah, if you want to go over there and, order some Chick-fil-A or Taco Bell, you can do that. But our meal plan is separate, and we have two different dining facilities on either side of our campus. And for the CCS shuttles, they take students to and from our two campus sites. So you can get from the Ford campus over near the Detroit Institute of Arts to the Topman Center, which is closer to the New Center area of Detroit. So we take students there, and we do intermittent trips to shopping centers. So we do sometimes take students to Allen Park to go to a large shopping center so they can get things in the interim, but we do not take students to specific stops. So for Wayne State, it's literally walking distance across Woodward. You can walk over there, but our shuttle focuses on our campus buildings. All right. And that looks like the shuttles run 24/7. And during the school year, they run really frequently. About every 15 minutes, a shuttle is running, multiple shuttles are running between both campuses. During slower times, like when the buildings are closed for the holidays, students can still use the shuttle. They would just need to call the campus safety office if the shuttle is not showing up as soon as they'd like. But our shuttles are running 24/7. I want to end with saying we're so grateful that you all are making the transition to CCS. We can't wait to welcome you all as new Peacocks. I'm an alum. I've been in these shoes before, and I just want to tell you, you're making an amazing choice for yourself and your future, and we're here to support you along the way.
Don't be afraid to reach out to any of us if you need additional, if you have additional questions, or practice using the office contacts and the office phone list. There you will find anybody that you do need to reach out to, their contact information. But if you don't know who to contact, Brandy and I are always welcome to assist you. So again, thank you for joining us. I believe a recording will be going out to all of you who have participated. You may also find additional recordings on our YouTube channel, so look for information there as well, and the website. And we look forward to seeing you all in the fall.
Yes. Have an amazing summer, everyone.
Thanks so much, everyone. You all have a great evening. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.